Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jasson with you. Exciting time to be in Lancaster with the festival right around the corner, so many things start really buzzing with the it seems like we just get through with the July 4th parade, and then we start moving on, and all of a sudden the festival is here upon us, and it's just exciting summertime here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. And one of the things we always like to talk about with the Lancaster Festival is Victor Jones and all the things he does, and the wildness that is Victor out there at Ohio University in Lancaster, and we're in that mode right now. We've got a couple folks with us today, and we'll talk about that. We've got Keller and Jenn Myers with us today, and first of all, welcome. We're glad you're with us. And as I mentioned about Victor Jones and Ohio University, you're no stranger to Victor and all the things he's done. How much fun and is it to just be involved? I'm sure he has to keep it so loosely. You have things to do, you have certain, you got to be here, you got to sing this, you got to do this, but he's perfect for what he does out there.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. We always have a great time.
Yeah, and you've done it before, so obviously you keep coming back for more, so some type of glutton for punishment.
I did his show last year, and it was an incredible experience overall. So when I heard that we were doing this show again, I just had to try it.
So this is Into the Woods, and we'll talk about that, but let me get the dates here. Now this is the 23rd during the festival of July, Two shows during the festival, and then that's it for the festival.
Yes.
Then you take a short break, perhaps a week, and then you come back August 3 through 6.
Exactly.
Correct.
And you perform it again more for the public, but not a festival related thing right there. And you're all out at the Ohio University, the new renovated place. You saw it maybe before it was renovated. I'm sure you did.
Yes.
Yeah, they've done a great job out there.
It's a beautiful theater. Yeah. Always a pleasure to perform there.
Sound is probably much better. The lighting is much better. Everything is just top notch. Well, it just runs a great show out there. So this is Into the Woods, and so tell me about Into the Woods. Now this is a Stephen Sondheim musical play from Broadway, and it's a mashup of several fairy tales we remember as kids.
Exactly, with a few others thrown in.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, and they're all coming together. Don't want to give away too much of it.
You just don't have four different plots. I mean, these characters all come to the you're the Jack and the Beanstalk kind of guy there.
Well, really, I'm the baker.
The baker, okay.
What it is there's the story of the baker and his wife who want to have a child, and that's sort of the original fairy tale that ties these four stories together.
Yeah.
And the witch places a curse on them.
And these are, three or four different plots that they bring together, and they crisscross. So you're involved with him, even though the original plot wasn't together.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Okay. The witch kind of comes in and is with everyone, but the basis of it is that she's put a curse on the couple, and the whole idea is to get that released, and the journey through the woods as they go to make that happen.
And
so they're all going into the woods together.
Into the woods. Now you're still in school, and you're I'm going to guess a theater major, drama major.
I am a music theater major. I'm also.
And that's just part of what you do.
Major.
Yeah, music education. You go to.
Bowling Green.
A Falcon. You will be a Falcon. 5th year Falcon up there, right there.
Isaac Zumba.
Should be coming. We're pulling for you, Ian. Very good like that.
I appreciate it.
So this is your second go around with Victor at Ohio University.
Yes, it is.
Must be great to be involved with the Bobcats after being stuck with the. I'm just kidding about that.
It's always nice to have variety.
And you're a Pickerington young man. You came from that school system up there.
Yep, Pickerington North specifically.
Pickerington North, very good. And Jenn, you're a Lancaster girl.
I'm a Lancaster girl.
Proud of it.
Proud of it.
And we have to let Ian know it's not Lancaster.
It's Lancaster, Ohio.
I have
Golden
been
Gales.
learning that. I am trying
You're from
my
Pickerington.
best.
Why don't you know that? Pickerington people know. If we can say Pickerington, you can say Lancaster.
I know, and that's why it's not fair, which is why I'm working on it.
So you grew up in the Lancaster City school system?
I did.
Yeah. And got into theater as a young person in school?
Yeah, my first performance into it was at Lancaster High School with Victor. We had a theater director, Lauren Peterson.
The legendary Lauren Peterson.
Yeah, legendary Lauren Peterson. Jeff Unger was there in the beginning, and then Gary Smith. But we did, I met Victor at Stanberry in 9th grade, but then my first performance was sophomore in high school at Lancaster High School.
And the fire was ignited.
In Carousel. And yeah, you know, it's funny though, because I always wanted to be an actress, so it just finally gave me a platform to be able to do it.
And you were able to do it. And singing just kind of evolved into that?
I always was singing in my bedroom since I was 4. So again, it just finally let me do it for somebody to hear it. Yeah.
And you came from Pickerington North, and I have a friend that was a former teacher up there. Jim Morgan was his name, Mr. Morgan, and he would take me to some of the productions up there. And I think colleges, from what Jim would say, would kill to have the advantages that Pickerington North, you probably saw that at Lancaster, as good a time in the things as you had. Pickerington, it was a cut above.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was there, our theater director was and still is Alan DiCarlo, and he is just a master.
Phenomenal.
The things, the sets, just everything. I know Jim used to talk about that. It's amazing that, you know, what a base that gave you to move on to something in that world.
I really was super lucky.
Yeah. So how long have you been working on this play? How long has this been going on?
Wow, we started
Beginning of June.
Yeah, that's about right.
So a good month. A good month.
Yeah, but we auditioned in, was it March? Can't remember. It's all blurring together.
Sure.
It was late March, early April.
Yeah, so we had like a month of our own to kind of start preparing, but then we started into rehearsals basically.
Now, how many folks are involved in the cast?
I want to say 18 in total.
Yeah, I was going to say 16.
Young people, little people,
wide variety.
Wide variety.
The whole gamut, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Victor is director and actually has a part, as I understand, in the play.
He's the stepfather.
Wow.
No, he's the father.
He plays Cinderella's father.
Cinderella's father,
and
not
for
stepfather.
once, he doesn't play piano in this. Is that correct?
That's right.
That gives him a break. He does far other things like that.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of a legendary play, Into the Woods, Stephen Sondheim.
Very popular. It had a revival on Broadway in 2022, and just vastly.
And a 2015 movie adaptation
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. So a lot of fun.
And beautiful music. Well, it's such, you know, it's just such beautiful music and beautiful storytelling, and we're really lucky to be a part of this beautiful cast. And it's hard work, but it's fun at the same time.
Sure.
You know, it's what we love to do.
Sure. So each of you just have one part in it. You're the witch, and you are the baker.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point you're separated, but then it kind of all meshes together.
We're kind of,
Yeah.
we're kind of together.
The characters are the baker, the baker's wife, and the witch. They're the ones who really are just all over the place in terms of connecting with the various fairy tales.
Do we know what fairy tales are involved in this? Can we have that?
I don't think that's much of a spoiler. It's Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, Little Red Riding Hood, and Rapunzel.
Yeah.
Gee, so there's something there for everyone. I mean,
Just about,
everybody had one of those as their favorite fairy tale as a kid. The first movie maybe you ever saw was, Cinderella or something along those lines. So, having fun?
Yeah, we're having a great time. We did the parade here in Lancaster yesterday.
Oh and huge crowds.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
Yeah, big crowds out there yesterday, and the fact that it's Ohio University, Lancaster and Victor, that in itself gives it the ability to draw people out there. And during the festival, all the emphasis on there, everything that day is is it 2 shows in one day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that day is all OUL, all everything, and of course OUL is such a big part of the whole festival anyway.
Yeah, it's been great being part of the festival we love being a part of the festival. That's an honor to be able
Are
to do
you,
that.
as a Pickering guy, ever able to get down to much of the festival stuff? You've been gone for a lot of it, right?
I was gone for a lot of them, but to be honest, until last year, I didn't even know that the festival was really a thing. But then I got to be a part of it, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, well, in your world, this is right up your alley, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the things that go on here. Yeah. Exciting time to be down here, and gosh, the play is just... I get goosebumps even thinking about it.
Yeah, when are you coming?
Well, I don't know what day. I'll have to get the tickets. Now, speaking of tickets,
Yeah.
I know you can go to the Ohio University website.
It's all online.
All online.
You go online.
Yeah,
There's,
and I talked to Victor about that. You get to pick your seat.
You do.
Which is good. So
They
you
added
just,
that feature this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a biggie, I think. I mean, everybody kind of wants no festival seating. You don't have to crowd in. You've got your seats.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You reserve them in advance.
Yeah.
And it's very easy, very
Yeah.
user friendly.
Right. It is a good website.
Anybody can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, it's just go Ohio University Lancaster. You can get that. Everything's on there to do it. Ian and Jen, thank you.
Thank
Gosh,
you.
it's going to be so exciting. So it's the 23rd during the Lancaster Festival, 2 shows,
Mm-hmm.
a break, and then August 3rd through 6th, the rest and you'll have, 4 shows?
Mm-hmm.
4 shows then? So that's kind of cool. You get to do it more than a couple times.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're
Well, it's going
really
to be great.
excited
It's more than the average show.
Yeah.
So all your work really gets to get to give back to the community. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing this. The crowds will be phenomenal. We know that. Excited to have both of you on. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
We'll be back on Fairfield Today in a moment.
The Lancaster Festival is back. Dozens of free events and ticketed events like Sheryl Crow, Andy Grammer, the Red Hot Chili Pipers, trumpet virtuoso Byron Stripling, and so much more. Tickets now at lancasterfestival.org.
The staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
My name is Allie. I just became 14 years sober at the end of last month. Through the support of my family and friends, I got the courage to ask for help. And through treatment services and the recovery community, I was able to start my recovery journey. Now I get to work as a peer supporter and an addiction treatment navigator where I get to help the next sick and suffering. If you don't have family and friends that can support you right now, you can find those supports through treatment providers, the recovery community, and peer supporters like me. Every life matters, and your recovery is worth it.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Appreciate your being with us. Nice day as we do our taping downtown here in Lancaster. And again, the summer is here. It's officially summer now, so we're in for some lots of fun. The bandstand behind us. You got the festival coming up. I mean, just a big summer as always here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. We appreciate our good friends here, Mary Snyder and Matt and everybody here at Fairfield Federal, for allowing us to come in and take up a little corner of our world right here in the lobby downtown. It's always fun to have first-time guests on, and that's our case here. We've got Katie UL with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know if a local girl, but in a relatively new position, Katie UL, now the executive director of the American Red Cross locally, and that is South
Central Ohio chapter.
South Central Ohio. She'll tell us where that is, but I think we're the furthest north that you go.
Yeah,
right? And that
correct.
Includes as far down as Athens, I don't know.
Athens, all the way down the other direction, Adams County.
Oh, Adams County, sure. On the river? You're on the river there? Yeah, you get some miles on.
Yes.
Very good. Well, again, their office, and I don't know the address, I'm sure you can tell us. I know it's right up on the little bank there, across from Tim Hortons. There's a little strip place right there, and you've got a couple places in there?
Yeah, so we have our office in Lancaster is at 828 North Memorial Drive.
828, okay. And you're a local girl. You've did you go to school here?
I did. I graduated from Lancaster High School, and I actually went to Ohio University, Lancaster campus, to get my degree in communications.
And so, again, you're relatively new, 4 months to the American Red Cross, where, again, you are the executive director. And has it been a pretty steep learning curve for you to come into this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it is, but there are some things that are just a fit that feel natural when you step into them, and this has been one of those things, but at the same time, it is a big learning curve. The Red Cross has a lot to it. I mean, obviously, we're a local organization, and people don't always realize that. They think Red Cross, and they think, oh, this big national thing.
When something happens in Nashville, you hear the Red Cross.
Right, exactly, and that's what people think of, but what we really are is a local organization that is serving here on the ground, and then we're just supported by a bigger national network and entity. So, and that's how we like to flip that on its head, because it's not really the national level. They're like, you guys are doing the work. I had the honor of going to Washington D.C. A couple weeks ago for my orientation as a new executive, and we heard from our top leaders, our CEO, our COO of the national, and they really took the whole week to pour into us at the local chapter level and to make sure we understood the organization, understood the mission.
And this is for all Red Cross people?
For all
so I
Red
bet
Cross.
That's a big group.
Yeah, actually, we're only 14 of us. They take a small group so that they can really spend the time with us and
nice
and make sure that we're prepared.
Get your boots on the ground,
Absolutely.
Get you prepared.
Yeah.
So I guess when I think of Red Cross locally, I think of things on the rare occasion, and thankfully they're not too bad. When you have a bad, I guess, weather-related incident, I think of those that you always hear the Red Cross, and we certainly seem to have had a lot of weather-related things, not necessarily here, but certainly around the country. Red Cross in general, I'd say, has been very busy.
We have been very busy. We have levels of our disasters, and that's kind of how much it costs is how we level those. So level like 4 or 5 and above is pretty high, and we are having them like it used to be every few months, and now it's like every 14 days we open a new disaster response at like level 4 or 5 or higher.
Seems like that, watching it on the news.
Yeah, it's been intense. But here locally, honestly, the most common risk factor is actually house fires.
I was going to say that's what I think of most here on those occasions when a building or home would burn. You're there to really help the people.
Yes, absolutely. So we have responded in our chapter. My chapter is 10 counties. And we have responded year to date over 150 house fires.
Year to date, so half the year, 150.
Now July 1st is our.
Oh, okay.
So we're towards the end of the year now, and it's been over.
So in a year,
150
plus situations.
Yes.
I'd say that's a lot.
It is.
Yeah. So 10 counties.
10 counties.
So have you had something in all counties?
Yeah, I would say so. I haven't really looked at the numbers, but yeah, there's definitely, and there's some that are more vulnerable than others, and we try to get into those areas and do some prevention. We do a program called Sound the Alarm, where we go and we actually install free smoke alarms, and we'll canvass neighborhoods that we feel are a little bit more vulnerable in order to put in smoke alarms in those homes.
Katie OUL is our guest. She's the relatively new 4-month-old executive director for the American Red Cross. And does the Red Cross partner with other agencies in town? Maybe you do when there's nothing going on, but certainly when there is some sort of disaster, whether it's a fire, no matter what it is, do you kind of... I was thinking when you're talking about fire alarms, putting up smoke alarms, I know the fire department's involved in that too. So are you involved with other agencies? You work together, coordinate?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of that is done by our volunteers, and then some of people, we have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with our local fire departments, and they will go and install smoke alarms where they see that there's a need as well. So, or if citizens call in and ask for it. So, yeah, there's a lot of partnerships that take place, not only with the fire department and local emergency management agency, but also with other nonprofits. So, like, say we have somebody who has had a home fire, of course, we're going to be referring them to the local food pantries, to 211.
211.
Yeah. So we do have those partnerships, and my goal is to build those partnerships so that if we are in a situation where a larger scale disaster would take place,
you can be the go-to.
Fairfield County, we would have the needs necessary. And we do have that to an extent. We already know, a couple of places there would be a shelter that we would open up if we had to open up a shelter. So I think, and the YMCA has served as that in the past as well. And I believe they're still on the list to be a shelter. So yeah, there are definitely local agencies that we partner with in order to fulfill that mission and make sure that there are no gaps in service.
Now, it's not very often when I have somebody with an organization, a company, however you want to term it, when I have the entire paid staff on the show at one time. And I do here because you are it locally. So as far as paid people go.
As far as paid people go, we have in our chapter, I want to say total out of the 10 counties, I want to say we have 1, 2, 3, 4-ish people.
4 point.
Including me, So
grassroots.
Yeah, exactly. So we have our disaster program manager, our disaster program specialist, and we have some business operations people. But other than that, that's it. 90% of our workforce in the Red Cross, nationally and locally, is
how it's
volunteer.
set up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think people want to know that because when I think of organizations that you give money to, whether it's locally the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, Baywood Mission, groups like that do things for the underserved or the people that need help in those moments of crisis. I guess I think of the Red Cross. That is one of the great logos you remember. I mean, everybody knows what that means and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it means something to everybody different. What I like to, if I get a group of people I'm talking to, I like to be like, okay, what does it mean to you? And I hear swimming lessons or babysitting classes or
lifeguards
or disasters or blood drives. Those are the things that people, and it's always something different for everybody. But we do all of that.
I was going to say, you do all of that here, right? Because we always see churches or various places will have blood drives. That's funded comes from you?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Absolutely. So and now if somebody wants to volunteer, if somebody would hear this and say, that's a great organization, I'd like to somehow know more about it, maybe I'd want to get involved, how would they do that?
Well, you can go to redcross.org and put in your zip code and find our local chapter.
Sure.
And fill out the application to volunteer and maybe put some couple areas of interests, and then our volunteer services team is amazing. They will reach out, they'll contact you, and kind of go through it with you and explain the different roles and really make sure you get the right fit for where you want to volunteer, because there is a lot in the Red Cross. Yes. Yeah. And then the other option, you can always just reach out to me first and I can get that ball rolling.
And how would they do that?
So you can email me at Kathleen.
.oul. Not Katie.
Not Katie. Kathleen.oul at redcross.org. Or you can give me a call at 740-777-0090.
And I would assume that if you're a volunteer locally for Red Cross, it's not a 7-day-a-week job. You don't do a lot, but there are those moments when it's showtime.
Yeah.
And all feet on board.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of our biggest needs revolve around our disaster action team, which are those people that would go out and respond if there was a house fire. And we have to send 2 at a time for safety purposes and to verify the damage and that the house isn't livable or the apartment or whatever it is. So they do an intake, and that could be at any time of the day. But you also have the option to say, I'm not available right now.
Sure.
But if you're on the team, you can get the call and you have a chance to really bring comfort to those people in that moment. You provide comfort kits to them, you talk through things with them, and you make sure that they get the help that they need right in that moment, whether it's they need a place to stay for the night, things like that. So.
And kind of a last question, we're getting around to wrapping it up here.
Sure.
You've been here 4 months. Is it your expectations have been realized, or you realize this is a big deal, or this is exactly what you knew you were getting into?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, I can imagine.
A little bit of both. There are moments where I'm like, oh my goodness.
How can I do all these places at once?
Yes, absolutely. And it's big because we've got, like I said, the 10 counties. It's a lot of space, especially in a mixed rural and metro kind of area like we have here in Southeast Ohio. But so I think that it's good to remember, though, that I have a lot of support. I have board members within those communities. I have what's called a community volunteer leader that I can recruit from those communities, and those are the people that are really plugged in to those communities where I don't live. Lancaster, it's easy for me. I've been here my whole life, but other places, it's great to have that opportunity to recruit somebody from the community.
So, if somebody wants to get involved, redcross.org
yes.
is a good place to go.
Yep.
Put in Lancaster,
yep.
a zip code. They'll get you right to you. And
absolutely.
Katie OUL, who is the recently named Executive Director of the American Red Cross, over on Memorial Drive, 828 Memorial Drive, right up here in that little strip mall. As you're going out of town, it'll be on your right up on the bank a little bit there. Good location. Well, I see your vans there every day.
Yes.
I see them out front. Good luck.
Thank you.
We hope we don't have to use you too often, but it's always good to know that you're there.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie OUL with the American Red Cross. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.